For those of us who struggle with chronic food cravings, which in turn is making it super hard for us to lose sustainable body fat, get lean and healthy, and really achieve our goals, the new weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy sound like a miracle. Question is, are they? And should we use them as a tool to help us in and on our journey? First, you need a little science overview on how these drugs came to be. So, there are tiny little sensors called L cells in your digestive system that feel when you've eaten food. As soon as they sense a food, they release a substance called, guess what? GLP-1, the thing that's driving everyone crazy and excited. So GLP-1 reduces your hunger. This is great because it tells you that you can stop eating and don't need to eat a whole nother cheeseburger or whatever it is. GLP-1 also does things like helps your glucose levels low and puts extra glucose away. So it's super, super helpful. GLP-1 is a molecule, and it's this molecule that all of these weight loss medications act on. So it makes sense that the scientists in pharma companies were like, hey, this is pretty amazing. I wonder what would happen if we gave someone an injection with 100 times more GLP-1 than normally they have in their body. Okay, makes sense, right? Well, what happened was that their appetite got zapped, and I mean destroyed. People pretty much stopped eating. And of course, they lost a ton of weight. But there were two major problems. Makes sense? There's always a problem, right? I knew you were going to hear that. Okay, problem one. When you lose weight on these drugs, it seems a lot of the weight loss is actually from muscle. So you're not just losing fat, your muscles are literally melting away. I'll drop a link in the study in the footnotes for you to check that out. So the second problem was when you stop taking the drug, guess what? You regain 70% of the weight back. And the weight you regain, and this is the important part, is usually 100% fat. And this is per the data from one of the pharma companies that make these drugs. And again, I'm going to drop the link to the study below for you to check that out. So obviously, this can actually put you in a much worse health condition than you were before. Now, of course, I've got clients who came to me who are already on GLP-1s. And to combat these side effects, I make sure that I run them through a 3-step protocol. 1, they must commit to weight train 3 times a week to gain and maintain their muscle mass. Makes sense, right? This is even more crucial for my clients 40 plus, because from your late 30s onwards, you get hit with a cocktail of a decline in estrogen and muscle sarcopenia, meaning you can lose up to 1% of your muscle mass per year. It's a tongue tie. Both of these factors crash your metabolism and your insulin sensitivity, which is why you see fat shifting to the belly region, and you find it's even tougher to lose weight around this age and beyond. However, this is the great news. The great news is that it's totally doable no matter what age you are to get rid of that weight. And whether or not you're on GLP-1s, you can get the results you need with just 20 to 30 minutes of weight training a week. And you can get it done in the comfort of your own home. If you're like me and don't have a gym, and I've got like 7 kids, you can do this. I'm going to post a link to the video I made on how to get started on exercise, turning it into a habit, and a framework on what to do below as well, for all of those of you who just need that guide. And a side note, exercise actually helps the secretion of GLP-1s naturally as well. So, man, that's brilliant. 2, they learn to build supportive, healthy habits put on autopilot so they don't need discipline, restrictions, or willpower. This prevents them from falling off the wagon again. As they become healthier, their dependence on the drugs diminish. 3, I train them to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. That means if you're 200 pounds, you need 200 grams of protein per day. Pause. Wait, what? I know, right? Comes as a shock to many of us. If you are like me and the majority of my clients, the thought going through your head right now is utter intimidation and overwhelm. Yes, At first, it does take some practice, total transparency. But a tip to help you with this is to break your protein into 3 meals a day. So for me, I aim to consume 140 grams of protein a day. I know, right? Little me. So that's around 43 grams per meal. But this is because I'm vegetarian, I do a lot of resistance training, and I'm over 40. So as I've mentioned above, I need more protein to avoid muscle sarcopenia. By the way, if you need me to create a video on easy ways to achieve eating 120 to 140 grams per day of protein, especially if you're living a hectic, busy schedule like me, just let me know in the comments below and I will get straight to it. The point is that by following my 3-step protocol, they are doing the work of exercising and learning about nutrition and adjusting their lifestyle. The medication allows them the mental space and clarity to stick with their lifestyle changes and then come off it. So if you need it, then there's no judgment. But here's the good news. Whether you're already on GLP-1s or are thinking about it, or you want to benefit from GLP-1 too, but without the drugs, the data shows you can. Best of all, they are small, easy to do tips that you can start today. So let's get to it. First, tip 1, eat your veggies and proteins first, fat second, and then starches and sugars last during a meal. I'm going to link the study again so you can see what I mean firsthand below. This will keep your GLP-1 levels higher for longer after eating for at least 3 hours and overall higher by up to 38%. This is why it's one of my key crave and binge prevention strategies to work on balancing the body's biochemistry for your body recomp that works in tandem with working on your mindsets, especially around behavioral change. Next tip, super easy one. Chew your food at least 10 to 20 times preferably and avoid blending and smoothing your food. I have another video on that. I'll put the link below and you'll see the study below. Super easy, right? So next tip, another super easy one. Drink some yerba mate, a type of plant drink with caffeine common in South America, which stimulates naturally the release of GLP-1 in your body. Again, I'm dropping the study below. And on that note, my next super easy tip is to integrate into your daily routine the habit of taking 1 teaspoon of apple cider diluted in a tall glass of water or a salad dressing, ideally up to 20 minutes before a meal, especially if it's carb heavy. There are literally so many studies showing the incredible benefits of this one simple habit on steadying your glucose. And I'm trying to keep this video brief, but let me know in the comments if you want me to drop the links to all these studies below. I will be happy to do it. Next tip. Okay, so over time, this tip is over time because your tummy has to get used to it. We want to increase your dietary fiber, especially fermented fiber, to help control your appetite. This is because it promotes the feeling of fullness without the extra calories, slows digestion just like GLP-1, supports a healthy gut, and balances your blood sugar levels. This leads me to the next tip, which is absolutely huge, incorporating allulose into your diet. Allulose is a low-calorie sweetener which has a similar effect to GLP-1. Obviously, it's not as potent as the real thing, but in the grand scheme of things, it's probably the most powerful way to suppress your appetite. And it doesn't raise your blood sugar level, and you don't get the calories, a win all around. Essentially, how it works is that the moment it hits your gut and possibly even your mouth, it begins a cascade of responses, almost as if you ate a 3-course meal and are fully satiated. Because our body is only used to getting a fraction of a gram of this substance in a typical fruit, like figs, for example, and since it's eclipsed by the amount of regular sugar and fructose in the fruit, the body thinks it's had enough. I love that. So by combining fiber with allulose provides a robust suppression of your appetite. The dose you need is about 10 to 15 grams and you can buy it in the form of powder or bars. It's so simple to use. Next is a simple core tip to add into your routine to reduce hunger. And it's kind of obvious, but tends to be overlooked. And that's to drink water. not just in general, but around and during meal times, because it helps break down your food. I know there's misnomers about that from the past, but yes, you can drink while you're eating. This results in better nutrition absorption, which again slows down digestion, which is totally what we're looking for. If you drink soda, try swapping it out for water at meal times and then have the soda like a dessert. That's per the super essential tip one that I mentioned above, which is worth repeating. So I'm going to repeat it to you so it gets in your head. Eat your veggies and proteins first, fat second, and starches and sugars last during a meal. Remember, our goal here is always to keep your blood sugar levels stable and to avoid them spiking at all times. I've done an entire video, which I will link below, on why spikes are worse for the body than higher but steady glucose levels, and why no matter what your health goal is, I'm repeating it, your starting place to get there should be making this priority, stabilizing your sugar. But to give you context, when we spike, our mitochondria become overwhelmed and start producing chemicals called free radicals. You've probably heard of them. Free radicals harm our cells and mutate our DNA, leading to oxidative stress and inflammation. Excuse my pronunciation, it's been a long day. Sweet spikes do this even more than starchy spikes. Inflammation is the root and cause of most diseases. Literally 3 out of 5 people will die of an inflammation-based disease. And so that's why it's really, really important to start making those little adjustments today that feel easy to help you on that journey to a healthy, sustainable weight. This is why you don't want to miss or ignore the video above where I show you how I boosted my metabolism, lost my excess body fat after having 7 babies, yes, from my body, and supercharged my healthy food habits, all without even touching my diet or doing crazy workout plans. And best part, you can literally start right now. So you don't want to miss this complete step-by-step breakdown here. And always remember, you can do it. See you next time.